Have you ever looked up at the sky and wondered how something that looks as soft as cotton can possibly be heavy? Clouds seem light. They float peacefully above our heads, moving slowly with the wind. But here is something that may surprise you. A typical cumulus cloud can contain hundreds of thousands of kilograms of water. That means a cloud floating above you can have a mass comparable to hundreds of large vehicles. So, how can something carrying so much water remain in the sky? And more importantly, why does the Quran describe clouds as heavy, even though people centuries ago could not see the tiny water droplets inside them? Today, we are going to explore the science of clouds, their incredible weight, how they remain in the sky, and what the Quran says about heavy clouds. Welcome to Beyond Kaaba. More than 14 centuries ago, the Quran drew attention to a fascinating feature of clouds. In Surah Al-Araf, Allah says that He sends the winds before His mercy, and when the winds carry heavy clouds, they are driven toward a dead land. Then rain is sent down from them, and the land is brought back to life. The Quran also says in Surah Ar-Ra'd that Allah shows people lightning, creating both fear and hope, and that He produces heavy clouds. Notice the description: heavy clouds. At first, this may sound simple, but when we look at clouds through modern science, the word heavy becomes fascinating, because clouds are not simply empty white shapes floating in the atmosphere. They contain water. And sometimes they contain an enormous amount of it. To understand the weight of a cloud, we first need to understand what a cloud really is. A cloud forms when moist air rises into the atmosphere and cools. As the air becomes cooler, water vapor begins to condense around tiny particles in the atmosphere. These particles can include dust, salt, smoke, and other microscopic materials. The water then forms incredibly small droplets, or, in colder conditions, tiny ice crystals. Billions of these tiny droplets and crystals together create the clouds we see. And this gives us an important lesson. A cloud may look like a soft white object, but it is actually a huge collection of microscopic water droplets and ice particles suspended in the atmosphere. So, how much water can a cloud contain? The answer depends on its size and type. Let us imagine a typical cumulus cloud. Cumulus clouds are the familiar white clouds that often look like piles of cotton in the daytime sky. Scientists can estimate the amount of water inside a cloud by measuring its size and the amount of liquid water contained within each cubic meter of cloud. Imagine a cloud that is about 1 kilometer wide, 1 kilometer long, and 1 kilometer high. That would give it a volume of about 1 billion cubic meters. Of course, real clouds do not have perfect shapes like cubes, so this is only a simplified example. But even with this simple calculation, the numbers become astonishing. If such a cloud contained roughly half a gram of liquid water per cubic meter, the total liquid water would be around 500,000 kilograms. That is about 500 metric tons of water. Imagine that. Hundreds of tons of water suspended above the earth. And yet when you look at the sky, the cloud appears almost weightless. So why does it not simply fall? This is where the science becomes even more interesting. You might think that if a cloud contains hundreds of tons of water, gravity should immediately pull all that water down. But the water inside a cloud is not sitting there as one giant mass. It is divided into countless microscopic droplets. Each individual droplet is extremely small. These droplets are so tiny that air currents can keep them suspended for long periods of time. Think about dust floating in a beam of sunlight inside a room. The dust particles have mass, but they can remain suspended because they are tiny and are constantly affected by movements in the surrounding air. Cloud droplets behave in a similar way. They are small enough that rising air and turbulence can keep them suspended. So, when we say a cloud is heavy, we are talking about the total mass of all those countless droplets and ice particles together. The cloud is not one giant object carrying hundreds of tons in one piece. It is a huge collection of tiny particles distributed throughout a massive volume of air. There is another fascinating part of the story. Cloud droplets do not remain suspended forever. Inside a cloud, droplets can collide and combine with one another. Some droplets become larger. As they grow, their ability to remain suspended decreases. Eventually, when droplets become large and heavy enough, gravity wins. They begin falling toward Earth, and we call that rain. So the same water that was once suspended as microscopic droplets in a cloud can eventually fall from the sky as rainfall. This is one of the most beautiful processes in nature. Water rises, clouds form, tiny droplets gather, the droplets grow, and finally, rain returns the water to Earth. Another important point is that not every cloud has the same amount of water. Clouds come in different forms and sizes. Some are thin and spread across enormous areas. Some are small and fluffy, and some are enormous storm clouds. One of the most powerful types is the cumulonimbus cloud. These are the giant clouds associated with thunderstorms, heavy rain, lightning, strong winds, and sometimes hail. A large cumulonimbus cloud can extend many kilometers vertically into the atmosphere. Because of its enormous size, it can contain a tremendous amount of water and ice. In fact, the amount of water inside a large storm cloud can reach hundreds of thousands of tons. That is an almost impossible number to visualize. So let us make it easier. Imagine the weight of many thousands of cars. Now imagine all of that mass distributed across a gigantic region of the sky in the form of microscopic droplets and ice particles. That is what makes clouds so fascinating. But why does this happen? Because of the water cycle. The sun heats the Earth's surface. Water from oceans, rivers, lakes, soil, and plants enters the atmosphere as water vapor. Warm, moist air rises. As it rises, it expands and cools. The water vapor then condenses into tiny droplets or ice crystals. Clouds form. Wind moves those clouds across the sky. Eventually, the droplets grow large enough to fall as rain or other forms of precipitation. The water then returns to rivers, lakes, oceans, soil, and underground reservoirs, and the cycle begins again. This process has been happening continuously across our planet for countless generations. Now let us return to the Quran. The Quran does not give a scientific formula for calculating the mass of a cloud. It does not say that every cloud weighs a specific number of tons. Instead, it draws attention to a remarkable characteristic of clouds by describing them as heavy. And modern atmospheric science gives us a powerful reason to appreciate that description. Clouds may appear light to our eyes, but they can contain an enormous amount of water. The important point is not to force modern measurements into the Quran. Rather, it is to reflect on how a simple description in the Quran can become deeply meaningful. When we understand the natural world more closely, the Quran repeatedly invites human beings to observe the heavens, the earth, rain, wind, clouds, and the changing world around them. And perhaps that is one of the most beautiful lessons here. The sky is not just something to look at. It is something to think about. The next time you see a beautiful white cloud floating peacefully above you, stop for a moment. Look at it carefully. It may appear soft. It may appear light. It may even look like a piece of cotton floating through the blue sky. But hidden inside that beautiful shape are countless microscopic droplets of water. And depending on its size and type, that cloud may contain hundreds of thousands of kilograms of water. The water is being held in the atmosphere by a combination of tiny particle size, air movement, and atmospheric conditions. Then, when the droplets grow large enough, they fall. Rain reaches the earth, dry land becomes alive, plants grow, rivers are filled, crops develop, animals and human beings receive water, and the cycle continues. What looks like a simple cloud is actually part of one of the most important systems supporting life on Earth. There is something even deeper we can learn from this. Human knowledge has advanced enormously. Today, scientists can use satellites, weather radar, aircraft, computer models, and sophisticated instruments to study clouds. We can estimate cloud size. We can measure water content. We can observe storms from space. We can track clouds across continents. Yet, despite all this technology, clouds remain one of nature's most beautiful reminders of how much we still have to learn. The Quran encourages people to observe creation and reflect. When we look at the clouds from that perspective, we can see more than a scientific phenomenon. We can see signs of the remarkable order of creation. A tiny water droplet is controlled by physical laws. A massive cloud is moved by atmospheric currents. Rain falls according to conditions we can study. And the entire water cycle supports life across the planet. For a believer, these observations can become a reason for reflection, gratitude, and stronger faith. So, are clouds really heavy? Absolutely. But their weight is not concentrated in one solid object. It is distributed across countless microscopic droplets and ice particles suspended throughout the atmosphere. A large cloud can contain hundreds of tons of water, while powerful storm clouds can contain even more. And yet, they can remain suspended above us until the conditions are right for rain. The Quran described certain clouds as heavy more than 14 centuries ago. Modern science has helped us understand just how remarkable that description can be. But perhaps the greatest lesson is not simply how much a cloud weighs. It is what that cloud gives us. water, life, growth, and mercy. The next time you look toward the sky and see clouds moving across the horizon, do not just see them as beautiful shapes. Remember that behind their beauty is an extraordinary natural system that keeps our world alive. And remember the Quran's invitation to look at creation, think deeply, and recognize the signs of our Creator. If you found this video meaningful, share it with someone who loves science, nature, and the Quran. And if you want more fascinating discoveries connecting the wonders of creation with Islamic teachings, subscribe to Beyond Kaaba and turn on the notification bell. Until the next video, keep observing, keep learning, and keep reflecting on the signs of Allah. Beyond Kaaba.